The point-slope form of a linear equation can be used to conveniently write an equation when you're given either 2 points or a point and a slope. The definition of point-slope form is that when you have a line with slope m through a point x1, y1, then the equation is going to be y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. And in this equation, the variable m is a placeholder for the slope. And when you have a point x1, y1 that you know is on the line, that this x1 and this y1 are placeholders for those two numbers. Now let's see how that works. So let's say that we're given point-slope form y minus y1 equals mx minus x1, and we're given a point 5, 2 and a slope -7. Well, as we said, in this form, the letter m, the variable m, is a placeholder for the slope, which in this case is -7. x1 is a placeholder for the x-coordinate of the point that we're using to write the equation, so that's going to be 5. And y1 is a placeholder for the y-coordinate of the point that we're using. And then we just fill in all the other variables and symbols. And there's our equation. Y minus 2 equals -7 times x minus 5. Here's another example. We're given the point 14, -1/2 and a slope 3/5. Now we'll use point-slope form. And remember that m is a placeholder for the slope, so that's 3/5. The x stays there. x1 is a placeholder for the x-coordinate, which is 14. And here we have y minus -1/2, which is like y plus 1/2. So this is the equation of a line of slope 3/5 through the point 14, -1/2. Now I'm going to give you two to try, and I'd like you to work those out. Please stop the video, copy the two problems that I'm going to show you to your journal, work out the solutions to the problem, and then restart the video to check your answers. And here are the two problems. First, the point is -823, the slope is 12. That's the first problem. And here's the second problem. The point is 2/5, 3/2, and the slope is 10. Now stop the video, copy these to your journal, work them out, and restart the video when you're ready to see the answer. Okay, so we'll use y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. Here the slope is 12, and the x-coordinate of the point is -8, so x minus -8 is like x plus 8. And then this will be y minus y1. y1 is 23, and there's our equation. For this next one, we'll start y minus y1, that's 3/2, equals m, the slope, 10 times x minus x1, which is 2/5. And there are the two equations. Next, we're going to learn how to write a point-slope equation when you're given 2 points but no slope. And this is kind of just one additional step to what we just did. So the first step is to compute the slope, which we will do here in our first example. So the slope here is 12 minus 5 over 6 minus 1. That's 7 over 5. So there's the slope, 7/5. And then we use one of the points and this slope to write the equation. So it's going to be y minus y1, which is 5, equals the slope, 7/5, times x minus x1, which in this case is 1. And there's the equation. Here's one more example. Here are the 2 points. First, we compute the slope, 3 minus 9 over 5 minus 2. That's -6 over 3, which equals negative 2. And now the equation is going to be y minus, we'll use this y1, y minus 9 equals m, the slope, negative 2, x minus x1, 2. Now we can also have used the other point, and it would have been perfectly acceptable to use the following equation. Y minus y1, which is 3, equals negative 2 times x minus 5. Now it turns out that both of these equations are equivalent to each other, and you'll see in class how that works out. Now I'd like you to try these two problems and copy them into your journal, stop the video, work out the solutions, and then restart the video and check your solutions. Alright, so here are the solutions. First, we'll get the slope, 10 minus 13 over 5 minus 8. This is negative 3 over negative 3, which equals 1. So the equation is going to be y minus y1, which is 13, equals m, the slope, times x minus x1. You could also have written y minus 10 equals 1 times x minus 5. That's using the other point. On the second example, we'll compute the slope, 8 minus 2 over 4 minus 16. That's 6 over negative 12. That's negative 1/2. And the equation would be y minus 2 equals the slope, negative 1/2, x minus 16. Or you could have written y minus 8 equals negative 1/2, x minus 4. Either one of these would have been just fine. And finally, here's an extension of what we just learned, and that is to write a point-slope form equation when you're given a table. Now, really what a table is just a list of points. We can consider each one of these entries to be a point. Now, here's how we might approach this problem. We can start by using the hockey sticks to find slope. 15.5 minus 10 is 5.5, and 1 minus 0 is 1. So the slope appears to be 5.5 over 1, which is 5.5. Next, we might try another pair of points, maybe these two, and we'll see that the change here is also 1, and the change here is also 5.5. So it looks like 5.5 is the slope. And then we simply use any one of these points or table entries to write the equation. So we might use this second table entry here, this one, to write the equation, and the equation would look like this. Y minus y1, that's going to be 15.5, equals m, the slope, 5.5, times x minus x1, which in this case is 1. And there's the equation. We could, of course, have used any other point. Had we used this point, the equation would have been y minus 33 equals 5.5 x minus 6. But these two equations are equivalent, and either one would be acceptable. Here's a problem for you to try. This is a table of the number of t-shirts I had in stock on the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th days that I was selling them. So on day 5, I had 60 in stock, and the next day I sold some, and there were only 52 in stock, and so on. So I'd like you to write a point-slope equation from this table. Please copy this table into your journal, stop the video, do the work to figure out the equation, and then restart the video to see the solution. Alright, so the slope is, well, 52 minus 60 is negative 8, and this is going to be 1. So the slope is going to be negative 8. And then we can write our equation. Y minus, we'll use the first point, 60, equals negative 8 times x minus 5. Had you used another point, say this one, the equation would have looked like this. Y minus 44 equals negative 8 times x minus 7. And as I said before, either of these would be acceptable. Have a good day.